Alrighty, I believe we are live here tonight. Hello, race fans. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the Loose Lug Nuts podcast here tonight. As you may notice, we are one set of hands short tonight. Tom is going out on business to do some businessy things to make money and stuff like that. So, Tom, wish you all the best, brother. I hope that conference goes well. I hope you had a good day today. And we will try to hold down the fort here and try to burn the studio down in the process. I will be your host. Yeah, I'll be your host tonight. Simoleons, a.k.a. Aaron Simmons. Along with me is my dedicated co-host, Zachary Brandenvolt. Zach, how's your day today, brother?
Doing really well. Trying to get rid of some of this redness, but doing really well. Had a good day today. Getting a pair of golf clubs tomorrow, so pretty excited about that. And excited to be talking about racing.
Heck yeah, man. And what a week of racing it was. All right,
exactly.
So absolutely. So as we will get into the truck review, NASCAR is finally back at IRP. Honestly, it was a fantastic show. IRP had made a very good statement as to why they should not have, why NASCAR should not have left IRP in the first place, because it was a fantastic race for the Truck Series. We saw just overall great racing there. We saw some aggressive driving in terms of basically everybody in the field. Most notably, John Hunter Nemechek, who basically just dumped Greg for the lead. Just a hole move, but that's John Hunter Nemechek for you. Saw Smith, Hocevar, all of them trade paint because I mean it's like a little bowl of a racetrack. I mean, you're going to trade some paint, and surprisingly, Grant Enfinger will come out of that little slugfest as the winner for I guess put a cherry on top of a terrible season so far, and will basically locks himself into the next round. Overall, fantastic race. Zach, what are your points on this race?
Yeah, it was interesting to see. Even just before halfway, there were just rants and raves about IRP and how good the racing was and everything else. So, from what I saw, it was. I mean, I think all three series should be running here, but it was really good racing. Extremely different strategies that some people would use. New tires were very, very beneficial when you got them, and that led to some people taking some really different strategies there towards the end. When John Hunter Nemechek took out Taylor Gray right before the white flag came out, and I was so irritated. But yeah, that was probably. I don't know. John Hunter Nemechek thought or said after the race that it was an accident. He just slipped up, but man, he slipped up so far. And why would you put yourself in that kind of position? Not only why would you put yourself in that position when you're one lap away from essentially finishing a guaranteed second place, and not having to go through another restart. And we saw that second restart really screwed him over when Saint Smith pushed him up into the wall and took him out of contention for the win. And ultimately, I forget where he finished, but he didn't finish very well. As a playoff driver, you got to use your head. And he really didn't. He really didn't use his head there, which was super frustrating, not only for a fan of new time winners. I was really excited to see Taylor Gray almost get the win. Ultimately, he didn't, and that was very, very depressing to see how that actually unfolded. Hocevar as well, we saw some interaction with him and Colby Howard. Colby kind of ran him up the track on the exit of 4, and then Hocevar didn't like that and sent him kind of like what we saw with Noah Gregson on a straightaway, sent him towards the wall I think we're lucky enough that not too many people got collected in that, but still pretty awful driving there. And I didn't hear of any penalties, so that's kind of something to look into and wonder why if it wasn't blatant and intentional like it was, why did that slide through? But overall, Grant Enfinger, he had a terrible season so far. He hasn't had a win. He got into the playoffs pretty much like by the skin of his teeth, and he walks himself into the next round with a win. He's fastest in practice, so it was really good to see him up there get a win, break through. Hopefully, this leads to better results for the rest of the playoffs for him. But those are my thoughts for the truck series.
Yeah. I mean, it was no surprise that Enfinger has had a pretty subpar season up to this point. We thought he'd be kind of up there as a definite playoff contender, but instead he just slid in by the skin of his teeth, and really kind of looking like he's going to be kind of the first one eliminated in this knockout style rounds. But hey, he got a win. No, a win's a win, no matter how you take it. So congratulations, Grant.
And what a win would it is for GMS as well. They've also somewhat struggled this season as well. So it's good to see them back in a victory lane.
It really is. And so now we will go ahead and move on to the Xfinity race at the Indianapolis Road Course. And honestly, probably the most tame one out of the three races we have for you this week. We saw Chastain being Chastain, being Wreck-It Ross once again, basically just dumping everybody left and right. We got playoff drivers, Gragson, Gibbs, Herbst rally back from issues all the way to finish inside the top 10. And then we saw my boy, my main man, AJ Allmendinger, win again at Indy, pretty much solidifying him as the road course king, at least for the Xfinity Series. I personally saw bits and pieces of the race. Unfortunately, I had to work Saturday, and it was a very chaotic Saturday, so unfortunately I didn't get to see most of it. But, of course, another road course, another strategies kind of intertwining, and Indy road courses being kind of a mixed bag. Zach, what did you think of the Xfinity race?
I honestly didn't get a chance to watch it, but from what the replay that I saw, it seemed just like an all-out domination for Allmendinger. I know he had a slow pit stop in the beginning there, but after that, I mean, I don't think anybody was going to stop this guy, to be honest with you. And I saw that Bowman had better long run speed, but in the end, like I said, I didn't see anybody passing him. When you look at it, there were a couple issues with some of the playoff drivers in that race, and they actually battled back to finish pretty strong. Gragson, Gibbs, and Herbst all battled back from spins and issues on pit lane in order to finish back inside the top 10, keeping their playoff chances alive or as far as like seeding goes. So, they didn't have necessarily the day that they wanted to ultimately, but, inside the top 10 kind of saves your day after issues like that. So, and also we saw that Chastain aggressiveness was not limited to the Cup Series at all. He was pushing people around. He spun Sheldon Creed out late in the race, if I believe correctly. And, it just goes to show that, I mean, I haven't seen other Cup drivers come down and race that aggressive before. So I don't know if he was just trying to learn as much as he could or what was going on, but that was, I think you would try and your hardest to race guys that are actually running for the championship and trying to get a playoff spot, like Sheldon Creed, who really has kind of disappointed this season, and race them a little bit better. But yeah, that's interesting to continue to see that. Maybe he's done with the Cup Series. Maybe he's like, I gotta back off, but I'm gonna attack in the Xfinity because they can't do anything to me on the track. I don't know, but it's pretty interesting nonetheless. But ultimately, I think it was a good race. Much better than the Cup race, which I think you're about to go over now.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I mean, really, I think this is the first time that we kind of really saw COG racing kind of come back into the forefront. The last few weeks has been dominated by JGR. Then before that, it was the Ty Gibbs show. And then we haven't really heard of COG racing a whole lot out of the last few weeks. But of course, you bring him to a road course and put AJ Allmendinger in a car, and he's bound to get at least a top 10. So
Absolutely.
I mean, AJ is the road course dinger or ringer, if people call him.
Exactly.
But now, here's the fun part. The Cup review, and oh god, where do we start? This one I did see for most of it, and I wish that I did for the good and bad sense. What we saw was pretty much NASCAR debuting what I would call their bumper car series. It's kind of where they take like some Cup cars and you throw them and just have no regard for anyone around them other than just to knock the living daylights out of them. Yeah. So I think that's what they were trying to debut this week. And plus, you saw more more penalties to Chastain and Austin Dillon after they quote unquote cut the course. And we saw my other dude, Tyler freaking Reddick, get his second win on a road course. He has broken the streak of first-time winners at a road course this season. And so Reddick would earn his second victory, pretty much solidifying his place into the chase. And really kind of making RCR look very foolish for letting him go. So that is pretty much the Cup. Zach, what are your
about
it?
Definitely. That race, I couldn't help but scream at my TV just how awful the respect and the lack thereof, especially on those late race restarts. But even every single restart, it was just awful to see. You had guys going, and I think NBC was milking a little bit when they said it was 8 wide. It wasn't 8 wide, but it was more like 5 wide, and you have to funnel down to at the very least 2 wide. And that didn't happen. And so you had guys forced off track and wrecking and spinning out. And, at one point I had a surefire lock for the fantasy win there. And then Blaney got taken out. So yeah, just absolutely awful. No respect for any of the drivers there. You had guys just running people over. And really just embarrassment, in my opinion, to NASCAR. I think it's a kind of a black eye, in my opinion. Hopefully they talk with the drivers and they figure this out. If they are going to run this next year, which it sounds like they are, that they have some type of penalties or something in place for people who continually send it inside. Because you can only block inside for so long. And that's where we saw the issues were. Like, people were diving all the way down past the pit lane marker and having to funnel back in. And then, to try and avoid them, a couple people took the access road out. And obviously they got way ahead of their original starting position because everyone was slowed down because they were going 4 wide, 5 wide into turn 1. So yeah, that's something definitely NASCAR has to look into. In my opinion, the access road is an access road for a reason. It's supposed to be slower than the actual track. And when it's not, you have to look at it and make sure that it isn't, or make sure that it is slower than the actual track. Other series does this perfectly with putting barriers, so you have to zigzag your way through, and NASCAR obviously didn't. And I think this was somewhat of a oversight by them, and in order to try and save face, they gave penalties out that I personally don't believe were necessarily justified, because I don't think it was on the drivers. We saw drivers earlier in the race do the same thing and essentially come out ahead or right where they were, which generally it's supposed to be slower. But nonetheless, both of them get penalties and get sent to the back, which is not good for Chastain trying to hone in Elliott for the regular season championship, and as well as Austin Dillon, who's trying to look for his first win of the season. But Reddick, I can't believe I'm saying that he's a multiple-time winner at two different road courses this season. Pretty shocking that he is, and that his first win not only came on a road course, but he hasn't won in any oval this year, which I think a lot of us were, betting on that he would win on an oval first, like Darlington or Homestead or something. And ultimately, his first two wins of his career come at road courses, which I just think is pretty ironic and honestly awesome. Just goes to show you how much of a well-rounded driver Reddick is, and like you said, how much Richard Childress Racing is kind of hurting at the moment, seeing this driver with all the success. But overall, those are my thoughts about the Cup race.
Yeah, and I agree. NASCAR needs to do something about the chicane penalties if they are going to keep doing this road course, which I very much doubt they're going to. I mean, just looking to the stands, and the road courses have been far worse than the oval track that they ran on for so many years. It just looked so empty in those stands. It's soul crushing because it is freaking Indianapolis, and dang, it's just hard to see. But yeah, in case you guys didn't hear, they are going to be doing the road course in 2023. 2024 is still up in the air. I highly doubt they're going to do the Roval again in 2024. Because the first year you had the disastrous track layout, or the track pretty much coming apart in the first one. Second time, the drivers didn't know where the line is in terms of bombing it in there and dive bombing in there. I don't see why the road course should continue after 2023. But
I don't know either, but it is like you said. I think it needs to. They need to look at some of these course cutting penalties because it's not only IMS, right? So we looked at Portland Xfinity when we went there earlier this year. They also had an issue where when you would a stop and go would be quicker than trying to get into the first corner. So they need to look at that. Try and follow what other series do, in my opinion, because they do it a lot better. They obviously run, a series like IndyCar. They run road courses all the time. So take what you learn from them and hopefully get better at policing that type of stuff. But yeah, like Mike Cora said, he should have 3 wins. But
he should.
It would have been Bristol dirt. It would have been Bristol dirt. So he would have won on dirt and 2 road courses, not a paved track.
Also counting Auto Club. He should have won an Auto Club too.
Yeah. Well, I think Eric Jones should have won, but he wasn't fast enough.
No. But also, I mean, it's frustrating because NASCAR does have a thing in place for trying to like cut the corner or cut a chicane. I mean, if you go back to the Charlotte Roval, if you cut the chicane, they make you do a stop and go penalty or stop and go thing.
Yeah.
Why wasn't that enforced at Indy? Where you stop in the chicane and then just go.
I don't know. See, I think what they thought was, having to go through that small little wall opening, that it would help prevent drivers from going too fast. But obviously they exposed that loophole. I don't. Maybe they make them do a stop and go, and then you'd have to police it. But I don't. The problem is, for me anyway, is that I don't know if you saw the meme of that one shot where Hamlin was just blazing through right in front of the camera. It's been all over social media, but anyway, he went straight through that too. And I don't know where he went as far as terms of position goes, but regardless, there's no way of policing that every single time unless it's the opening lap. And nobody else got penalties all day other than the two that did it on the final restart there. So I don't know. I don't know.
It just seems like there's more and more layers to stack on the why are we even doing the road course at Indy? It seems there's more and more layers being added every single year.
Personally, I think the racing, other than the multiple restarts that we had, I think the racing was good. I think it was more difficult to pass than I think people originally or drivers were originally thinking, and I think we saw that on the broadcast as well. It was harder to pass, so guys were trying to force it in there and locking up. So to that, I didn't like it, but overall, I didn't think the racing was bad. But there's just so many issues that we've seen. I mean, I would love to try the new car on the oval, and hopefully we get that next season, or the season after. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I would too. I think the oval should stay, but that's just me. All right, I believe we have talked Indy Roval to death. Now let's talk about some news to death. Zach, you are up.
Absolutely. So yet again, another heavy week of news that dropped. I think so much news that
we're time of the year.
Yeah, there's so much news that we're only going to cover so much. So the first big news is that Eric Jones will remain in the Petty GMS number 43 Chevrolet in 2023 with a newly signed multi-year deal. And this is the first multi-year deal that he's had in a very long time. So he gets locked up by Petty GMS for 2023 and beyond. What are your thoughts on this, Aaron?
No surprise. I mean, I think Eric Jones has been the best guy in the 43 car for a very long time. Of course, he had Eric Almirola with the win, at the Pepsi 400 back in 2013, I think 2014, somewhere around there. But then again, he's been very inconsistent, and so has the multitude of drivers that have taken the 43 up until Eric Jones. Jones has given them at least somewhat consistent results, and that's what that's what GMS needs badly. And so I think Eric Jones is the right guy for now. Possibly build on some momentum, trying to get ready for next year because he is the guy for GMS right now, and it's no surprise to me. I wouldn't shocked to see him go.
Yeah, I definitely was, like you said, best driver in recent memory. When you're looking at it here, Eric Almirola raced 208 races with a win and only 10 top fives. And in a quarter of that, Eric Jones has 58 starts and already 2 top fives and 13 top tens with 81 laps led, which is nearing Eric Almirola's total of 118 throughout his career with Richard Petty, number 43. If you look at Bubba Wallace, he has 112 starts and only 3 top fives. So, Eric Jones almost equaling that in half the amount of races, less than half the amount of races there. So, like you said, definitely a phenomenal racer, and I think he's coming into his own. I think this is a good deal for him too, because with GMS coming in and buying out half the team and supporting them the way they have, they have a truck team that's pretty good as well, and they have their own manufacturing in place as well. So for all the things that they need, of course, this new car you don't need to provide a lot of parts, right? So it's based on more of driver skill, like we've been seeing all season. But still, some things need to be manufactured and stuff like that. So that partnership and money that's been brought in, I think, has really helped the team as well. And then just basically when you look at the difference between him and his teammate, Ty Dillon, the gap between them is absolutely massive and just shocking to see. And I think that has a large part to do with Eric Jones and his skill set. So awesome for him, awesome for Petty GMS, in my opinion, because they need a driver like him, and a driver that'll help, pull that team up. So looking forward to see this matchup succeed over the years to come.
I am too. I'm very interested to see what Petty GMS is going to be in the following years. All right, as we go to our second news story of the night.
Yes, so Austin Hill is set for Cup Series debut in Michigan in the number 33 RCR Chevrolet. So I guess I'm going to lead with this one question. Is this a driver test to see who's going to be in that 8 car after Reddick leaves?
Very possible. I mean, it's obvious that Austin Hill definitely has skill behind the wheel. He was in contention for the Truck Championship last year until an unfortunate stretch of races knocked him out, which I still think he could have gone way farther if the playoff style wasn't in here. But of course, in the Xfinity Series, he's already showing that he's got a little bit of progress he still needs to make before he becomes an Xfinity Series regular for the playoffs and championship hunts. But the talent is still there. At this point, I don't think he's ready for Cup yet. I think he's going to need a few more years in development in the Xfinity Series to try and get over that hump. But I just hope and pray that they don't launch Austin Hill way too soon. We've seen way too many drivers, fall under that category of Xfinity drivers who show promise and then just fall flat on their face as soon as they get to the Cup level, and their confidence is just utterly destroyed.
Yeah.
So hopefully RCR does not take that path again, because that's a path that Austin Hill should not be down. He's a likable guy. He's a relatable guy. He has pure talent in this series. He's a smart driver. Please don't bring him up too fast. But I think it's a great opportunity to show the Cup world what he's got, and if he truly is ready.
Yeah,
I'm banking on he's not, but hey, it's a one race show. Let's see what he's got.
I mean, when you look at it right now, he's in the playoffs. He's massively outperforming Sheldon Creed. Let's not forget, Truck Series champion, in the same equipment. And, I mean, he's miles ahead of him. So I think that, another year in the Xfinity Series will definitely help him. But I'm excited about this. I really am. I think Austin Hill, what I'm seeing now, I think he has what it takes. And I think this is a good intro to see how well he does. Michigan's going to be a little tough. Let's think Auto Club, where we had drivers spinning out on the seams. It's not easy at all. But, it'll be a good race nonetheless to try and see what he has. And it'll give RCR an opportunity to potentially bring that number 33 back for maybe a different driver, or maybe Austin Hill again, to give him a couple races this year, so that way when he needs to hop in 2024, he can. So I think this isn't Austin Hill's last Cup Series start in that 33 or with RCR. I think we see him again next season at the very least, if not another race this season. But yeah, so we'll have to see. But moving on to more RCR news, Richard Childress does confirm that Tyler Reddick will drive for RCR next season in that 8. So he's not going to let him go just yet. He's not going to let him go ahead and take a different ride. He's going to stick with him in a lame duck season. What are your thoughts on this, Aaron?
Not real surprising for Tyler Reddick. More surprising for RCR. Of course, Reddick, later on, earlier in the season, said that he's going to be ditching RCR for possibly greener pastures, for greener pastures in 23 XI and 2024, not 2023, which put RCR in a very which put them in a rock and a hard place situation. Saying, well, wait, this cannot be a worse time to announce that. But I mean, I think Ty Reddick saw the writing on the wall and thinking, okay, if I were to leave RCR this season for at least a 1-year deal, where am I going to go? I could go down the Xfinity level, which I'm not want to do because I have talent in the Cup level. But what Cup rides are available to me where I don't go the path of Clint Boyer and just kind of ride out a year and waste a year of my career? So I think the 8 ride was the best ride available to him at the time, since everyone's going to not be picking him up because, again, it's a 1-year deal. And you're going to be right back in that saddle all over again. So yeah, I'm not really surprised Reddick stayed. I'm more surprised RCR pretty much said, yeah, he's coming back after this year. So
yeah, I don't know. I would have to kind of disagree. I think that it was a smart business decision by Richard Childress, just in my opinion, because I think he's the best option they have. You're not, like you said, you're not going to rush a rookie into a Cup. So what options does he have other than Tyler Reddick? At this point, I don't see anything, especially as a stopgap, because obviously you want your drivers in your race cars, especially if Austin Hill does really well in Michigan. So I don't know. If Tyler Reddick says, yeah, I'll race for you, Richard Childress, you can't say no at that point. I mean, he's the best talent on the street, essentially, for lack of a better term. You're not going to get better quality from anybody else. And just focus on a rebuild in 2024 with your in-house drivers. So which I think is what he's going to do. But, I would feel bad. And I'd see Adam Lauer's comment that Landon would be a good 1-year placeholder. As much as I would love that, I feel really, I would rather Landon get into the Cup Series and have a decent ride, a full-time ride at the very least, than a 1-year deal. But which he might get next season in the 16. Who knows? But yeah, I don't think Richard Childress could really find anything else better, in my opinion, other than stick Tyler Reddick in there, keep your sponsors happy because they are tied to the driver. Let's not be foolish and think that once the drivers leave, you're going to have to find different sponsors and ride it out. So, he's in the championship hunt this season. This is going to be a good experience. Even if he doesn't win the championship this season, he has a good chance to win it next season, bring all this knowledge and all that good stuff for next season. So I don't think it's a bad move at all by either side. Maybe Tyler Reddick's itching to get a move on after the season, but I think Richard Childress can't really say no in my opinion. But who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
But moving on to the next racing news topic, Camping World is set to leave NASCAR at the end of the season. With apparently a rumor is that Craftsman is bidding for naming rights again. Boy, I would love to see it become the Craftsman Truck Series again. I really hope so. But what are your thoughts on this, Aaron?
Craftsman, please take the deal. Bring back the feels. Bring back the nostalgia of the Craftsman Truck Series. It's been so long since we've been able to say that. Nostalgia would be real. But
yeah.
But still, I mean, it's just surprising that Camping World will come to an end. I got used to them last year from the Camping World Truck Series, and they have been a very, very good title sponsor to NASCAR. Of course, last year they funded like 10 smaller funded teams for at least a race at Las Vegas, which was very nice of them. They've been a brilliant title sponsor for NASCAR. It sucks to see them go, but yeah, it just sucks to see him go.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see. Camping World, I think, was good, but they also had some controversial things happen with interactions with the fans and not paying drivers when they would sponsor their rides. That's some issues, but overall, I think they did more good than harm. But I think Camping World did what it was supposed to do, right? It did what it came in there to do, rather, which was get their brand out there. I think a lot of people, especially RV people, knew what Camping World was, but to me, when I first saw it sponsored by the NASCAR Truck Series, I did not know what it was. So it made me research it. And Marcus Lemonis, as much as he was a controversial figure, he did a good job of marketing his brand. And not only that, but keeping fan interaction up to a high standard. So overall, I'm sad to see Camping World go, but I'm excited for the opportunities that await. And hopefully the Truck Series can get a new title sponsor, and hopefully it's hopefully it's Craftsman, excuse me. But who knows? We'll see. I'm just trying to break news early here for you guys. But moving on to the next set of news, it's Stuart Haas announces a new executive leadership structure as President Brett Frood, who's been a part of SHR since its inception in 2009, is departing from his day-to-day activities with the championship-winning NASCAR team to become the commissioner of the National Lacrosse League. However, Frood will remain as an executive advisor for SHR and the boardman chairman for all Tony Stewart-related entities. So that'll move Brian McKinley from the vice president of sales to the chief commercial officer for SHR. And then as well as facilitate the expanded responsibilities of Greg Zipadelli. I think a lot of people remember him as a crew chief. He has moved internally as well, and he will have an expanded role in the new leadership structure. So different things here. Interesting to see that NASCAR leadership owner, operator, president is moving to lacrosse, and then how they handled it. What are your thoughts on this, Aaron?
I mean, I really don't know. I mean, what a chief commercial officer does is basically like the overseer of all marketing and strategy and trying to get your brand out there and kind of what the plan is to build your reputation as a marketing thing. And so he will have complete control of that. Brian McKinley will. And honestly, I don't know much about Brian McKinley. I tried to research him before the podcast tonight. I couldn't really find a whole lot on him just because there's so many Brian McKinleys out there. But hopefully he will kind of bring something new to SHR, because right now they're really kind of in the dumps right now in terms of performance on the track. And so hopefully he will kind of bring something new and fresh into SHR. I wish Brian Frood the best of luck in lacrosse and all that. So hopefully he will. So hopefully McKinley will bring something new to the table.
So McKinley joined SHR in 2020. He has since secured numerous partnerships, including Mahindra, Gear Wrench, Subway, Magical Vacation Planner, Pristine Auctions, and Renegade Insurance, among others, for SHR. Prior to joining SHR, McKinley was the co-head of global partnerships at FELD Entertainment, managing more than $40 million worth of partner activation across 7 live touring properties, including Monster Energy AMA Supercross, Monster Jam, and Disney on Ice. Before his tenure at FELD, McKinley was vice president of sports marketing at Herbalife International. That's an MLM company. He led a global sponsorship strategy for the $4 billion health and nutrition company that encompassed 250 partnerships across 90 countries. So that's just a little snippet, which I found interesting. He's bringing sponsors to the team though, which is good. And he has a marketing background. And the fact that he was involved in Monster Energy, AMA Supercross, and Monster Jam says something about his motor racing history as well. So could be a interesting pairing for sure.
It certainly sounds like a very interesting pairing. We will kind of see where it takes him place, because so far he has done a lot of good for SHR, bringing some more sponsorship for him. But I mean, we'll see kind of what his plans are with Smithfield, because that's going to be a big one coming up here later on this year.
Exactly, and this will take place in September, so we'll see what happens after that. And then for the last little tidbit of news, a little Formula One news. Sebastian Vettel, 4-time world champion with Red Bull Racing, is going to retire from Formula One at the end of the season. Very, very sad to see him go. He's one of the icons in the Formula One paddock, but he leaves with a strong legacy, and as he wants to go do some more environmental awareness, brand type of stuff. So he moves away from out of the cockpit into more of a spokesperson role. So do you have any thoughts on this, Aaron?
Well, as a Formula One noob, I have heard of Sebastian Vettel. Seems like he's just an absolutely a good person, a fantastic competitor. Sad to see him go, but from what little I've seen of F1, it seems like it was his time to go. He had nothing left to prove, as far as I'm aware. But you know what? So good for him for trying to raise awareness for environment. It needs to be protected. It needs to be aware. It needs to be it needs to be saved first and foremost. Okay. So good luck, Vettel.
Yes, he's definitely a standout guy. Can't say enough about his character. He was also an awesome driver, so you don't get a lot of those, especially one that races across the world. So definitely sad to see him go, but awesome that he starts a new chapter of his life and is able to spend some more time with his family. So good for him. And that is the news for this week.
All righty, now we will move into who's hot, who's not. I guess I will go first since you took over the last segment. So, for my who's hot this week, I got to go with Bubba Wallace. The last 6 races, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, and 5 top 20s. He has really kind of turned it on the last few weeks. Maybe they have found something in that car. Hopefully not tape this time. But so far, it looks like he has turned on the performance the last 6 weeks. So coincidentally, who is not this week has got to go to Chris Buescher. I mean, since Sonoma, where he arguably had his best performance of the year, only 2 top 10s and 3 top 20s to his name in the last 6 races. So not really looking good for Chris Buescher, I believe, with an average finish of like 17th. So kind of like a reality slapping him back in the face, because yes, you're still with RFK Racing and they are still subpar.
Yep. Yeah. I'm gonna say that's pretty bad. Pretty bad for sure. As far as you're done, right? Sorry, I completely interrupted.
Yep. I'm good.
As far as mine, I got to go with, as far as my who's hot, I'm going to go with Christopher Bell. Obviously has that win, but he also has 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, and all top 20s in the past 6 races, while leading 73 laps. So hitting it strong. I want to remind guys that he was strong in IMS until he blew a tire, and then came back and finished inside the top 10. So what a comeback for him. and he's able to keep that streak alive. So only one better with a best. So he has a 10.3 average finish. The only one better is Chase Elliott with a 3.8 average finish over the past 6 races. So pretty awesome to see, and he's hitting a stride. So good on him. As far as who's not, I have to go with Alex Bowman. That's what William Byron. Excuse me, William Byron. Since Sonoma, he's only amassed 3 top 20s, and he has an average finish of 22.5. Only Almirola, Dillon, LaJoy, and Bowman and Ware are, as well as Ty Dillon, are lower than him. But not good for him as he drops in the standings. He's led 41 laps, but ultimately his finishing results are not where they need to be. His qualifying results are also pretty abysmal. He's qualified 17th on average over these past 6 races. So not where you want to be at all. Even Alex Bowman has a 16.7 average qualifying position. Out of the top guys here, no one else has even that kind of qualifying effort out of the top teams. So definitely not good. And on downswing, especially as we near the playoff cut line or playoff start, it's not good to continually drop down the standings there. But
no,
I digress.
I didn't make a correction to mine. I was looking at the wrong page. Chris Buescher's average finish the last 6 races was a 20.8, not a 17th.
So 21. I round up.
Yeah, basically 21. Yeah,
I round up, but yeah.
So even worse for Mr. Buescher. All right. As we will now move on to my favorite segment, green flag, red flag. With now Judge Aaron is now presiding. Fans at home, of course, green flag. If you agree with these statements, red flag if you disagree. And, of course, please tell us why, because we'd love to hear your comments. All right, first one of the night is going to be something we've already kind of talked about, but I still want to bring it up anyway and get your guys' opinion on it. Green flag, red flag. Should NASCAR race the road course at Indy after 2023? Of course, like I said before, NASCAR will run the road course in 2023. It is agreed upon. But after 2024, they said it is up in the air, whether they'll run the oval or the road course. So, Zach, what you got?
I'm gonna say red flag. I want to see it at the oval to make a full judgment before I say no. I want to keep it at Indy road course. I'm not gonna say after that we shouldn't go back to the Indy road course, but I want to see the new car on track. IMS notoriously for single file and hard to pass. With this new car being a little bit wider, might make it a little bit harder. But regardless, I want to see it. I want to see it because these cars are more equal than ever, and I want to see it before I make my judgment.
All right, so it said red, right?
Yes.
Okay. I will agree with you. I'll also say red. I think the Roval is an interesting idea for NASCAR, but I don't think it was built for NASCAR. It just seems like turn 1 is just too much of a hassle with the just straight 90-degree corner after the longest straightaway that NASCAR has besides Pocono. It just seems like NASCAR just can't get it right when they're in packs, at least. When they're spread out, it's fine. It's just on restarts where they have the problem. Honestly, not even that. We saw Larson that had a quote unquote brake failure, which they said wasn't a brake failure, and which would think, what the hell happened to Larson? But and then of course we saw Brad Keselowski spin out. We saw name your driver here, and they will have spun out there. But
either spun out or went through the grass. Either way,
or caused somebody to spin out. I mean, no one was innocent in turn 1. It was just the Grand Central Station to chaos. But I'm going to say red flag. I don't think they should. They should go back to the oval the way God intended. And it is not the Brickyard 400 without the oval. So I'm going to say red flag. It has to be back at the oval after 2023.
I agree.
Because it just doesn't feel as prestigious. You know, it doesn't feel as prestigious to me after that. Speaking of bringing stuff back from the past, we had, for second green flag, red flag of the night, we had a fantastic race at IRP this season with the Truck Series. Should IRP host an Xfinity race? Green flag or red flag, Zach? What do you think?
I definitely think so. I think Cup should go here, but that's just my opinion. I think it was fantastic racing. And like I said, so many different strategies that you could play with the tire wear and everything. I definitely think that even Cup should be here.
Okay. And I will also concur with that statement. I think green flag. I think for Xfinity, it would be an amazing race here. For Cup, I don't know. We'll have to see. But I think Xfinity definitely belongs at IRP. But Cup, I'm not sure. But I would say definitely green flag. That track was made for Xfinity.
Oh, yeah.
You know, beating and banging. Let's see. It's like coming from the Xbox channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. But green flag or red flag? The Auto Club rework. Answer that right now. That's a gigantic red flag. Absolutely
Red.
not. No.
Red.
No.
I think if you've watched our channel for the past even month, you would know that we're big components of leaving Auto Club the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely would love to see. I mean, the racing was awesome when we went there earlier this season. And I'm excited that they're not changing it for next season, but obviously they're still doing work. I thought it was going to be stopped because of COVID and everything, because there was delay, but ultimately they're going to get back going on it. I don't know. Definitely red flag though for me.
Re-break the Brickyard. Yes, let's do it.
I would not be opposed to that.
You know what? Why not? Let's bring it back to the old days. Bring back the bricks.
I don't think this new independent suspension system would last even a mile. But anyway,
can someone say 2008 all over again?
Yeah. Maybe these tires would pop too. I don't know.
Yeah, because why not? Yeah, because why? Yeah. So we'll just.
We've had issues all season.
Issues all season, especially here again this last week. So why not? Let's bring them back.
Yeah.
All right, green flag, red flag, number 3 of the night. Does the events at the Indy Road Course paint a bleak future for the Chicago Street Course that was just announced earlier this season? Of course, you know, the big story for the Indy Road Course this week, at least for the Cup side, was turn 1, a sharp 90-degree angle from a long straightaway that drivers just tend to dive bomb on there when they had tons of open room. Does that paint a bleak picture for the Chicago Road Street Courses, which I, by the way, counted, has 7 90-degree turns? So, Zach, what do you think?
I mean, ultimately, let's just be real. After the comments that were made by the Chicago mayor, after announcing that it was going to happen, then there's some sort of question mark as to if the race is actually going to happen, because of it was going to take longer than originally thought. To, you know, there was going to be like 2 weeks of cleanup and stuff like that. I don't know. I think this, like Adam Lauer said, I think it already has a bleak picture already. I think it could get bleaker with 90-degree turns. I think it was pretty stupid, but yeah, I'm gonna say green flag on this. I think if the drivers continue their aggression, it's definitely gonna be even worse, because what is there? A wall? There's not grass that'll catch you and allow you to get back on track. There's just a wall. So, yeah.
Yeah, I will have to agree with that. I still don't know why the street course has to be a thing. You saw at the previous live stream where I had my rant. You can go look at that on YouTube. It'll be there forever. Not too happy with the Chicago road course, especially with it taking out Road America. But I think what we saw this weekend at the Indy Roval course is just going to be a complete demolition derby in Chicago. I'm not too happy with it, especially if we had the cars that we have now, where I'm not too happy. I'm not gonna be thrilled about it. So yeah, green flag for me. It's definitely it has a more bleaker future already. I should have put that in the question. All right, so last one of the night. Does AJ Allmendinger re-solidify himself as a title contender with his win this weekend? Of course, we saw the Junior Motorsports domination the last few weeks. Ty Gibbs' domination earlier this year. But does AJ Allmendinger, who hasn't really done much the last few weeks besides his race at Portland, does he re-solidify his place as a title contender this year?
I don't think so. I want to see what he has in store for the ovals. Right now, all of his wins this season would come on road courses. I want to see what he can do on ovals. I would love to see him win an oval track. That would give me more confidence, but I would have to say it doesn't necessarily re-solidify himself as a contender, in my opinion, just because he has another win. He needs to perform on ovals.
Yeah, I will have to agree with you, Zach. He's got road courses figured out. That's not been a debate in a very long time. But it just seems like Kaulig Racing has kind of lost their oval speed. I'm not sure if that's just due to lack of personnel on the Xfinity side going to Cup. I'm not sure if other teams have kind of figured out the oval while they just kind of lost some speed there. I'm not sure what's happening with them on the ovals, because they were a contender on the ovals last year. Now they're not. So yeah, I agree. I think he has to prove more on the oval side of the championship in order to be a top contender. But I think that win pretty much solidifies that he's going to at least make a decent run in the championship. That he still got speed in the car. It's just for some reason they can't put it together on the ovals.
Yep, I agree.
All right. So we will now move on to our Michigan picks. If you are in fantasy, please take, and if you're looking for some suggestions on who to pick this year, please take ours with not just a grain, but several pounds of salt, as most of us have tended to curse these drivers, mostly me. With our picks, Zach, do you want to go first?
Sure. So my pick to win is going to be Joey Logano. And here's why. He has the best percentage of laps led since February 2019 at Michigan. He has 1 win, 2 top 5s, and 3 top 10s, and 5 starts, and an average finish of 12.8, which is not as high as some of the other ones, but I think Joey Logano can get it done. In my opinion, Fords have been kind of strong, so I think he could get it done. And as far as my dark horse, I am gonna have to go with who would be a good dark horse here? I would have to say, I guess it's not really a secret anymore. I would have to go with Kevin Harvick. 4.8 average finish. In 5 starts, he has 3 wins at this track. 3 top 5s and 4 top 10s. So and he's led 23.8% of the laps here. Harvick hasn't won this season, hasn't really looked well. I would have to say he's going to be my dark horse simply because he hasn't won this season, and I think this is his track. If he's going to do it, he does it here.
Okay. All right. So for my pick, I've got to go with Chase Elliott. It seems like he doesn't have the numbers that Harvick does, but last year he seems like he had a really decent car, but then just got caught up in some calamity. And so I got to go with Chase Elliott as the winner. For my dark horse this week, even though I picked him as my who's not this week, I got to show him at least a little bit of love for Chris Buescher. Who, granted, he only has 5 top 20s, but he does have a 17 average finish, and he has looked a little bit better this season, even though it completely contradicting what I just said. But I don't know. I got a good feeling about Chris Buescher this week. I don't know why, but I do.
All right.
So that's my dark horse. So yeah, guys, please don't pick my picks. Knowing my luck, Chase Elliott is gonna blow a motor like lap 1. So that's just me. And so we will now go to our white flag lap, where we take a turn kind of just commenting our final thoughts. Zach, what is your white flag?
Why don't you go first? I'm still looking for this. Sorry.
Okay. Let's see. For my white flag lap, I just gotta say, IRP should be back on the schedule for at least Truck and Xfinity. Cup should be brought back there for at least a test run. I don't know if it will work, but who knows? Maybe. But I also just saw a post from the Save the Speedway account on Twitter, and holy mackerel. It was his first race ever in quite a while. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but look at that crowd attendance. Look at that crowd. It is packed for his first race back in several years. That is a racing crowd.
I love that.
And it just brings warmth to my heart to see that Speedway back.
I love that.
I love it too.
I think it's perfect.
Yeah. And hey, you know what? If Cup can go to IRP, Cup, go back to North Wilkesboro, please. Like you should have. You know what? Screw Texas. Let the contract run out with Texas. Go back to North Wilkesboro as God intended. I mean, come on.
I'm down for it.
I'm down. All right, Zach, you're up.
Yeah. I don't know. So, Well, okay. So I'll just say this. I really hope that Kurt Busch is okay. I hope he gets back in the wheel for Michigan. However, if he doesn't, I would start to be seriously concerned about his future with NASCAR and his health, even more so. So, that's definitely something to look at. There hasn't really been any announcements about it soon. So hopefully we'll hear about it soon and figure out whether or not he'll be back racing at Michigan.
Yeah, because I don't think anything has been confirmed with Busch coming back, right?
Correct.
Not that I've heard.
Yeah. So I don't know any news about it yet. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
we'll see what happens. And of course, as always, we wish Kurt Busch a speedy recovery. Hopefully he'll get back into the car soon. Because it doesn't feel right without Kurt Busch being there. It just doesn't feel right. But anyway, that will be the show tonight, guys. Thank you all who have tuned in tonight. Your support is always appreciated. And I'm sure if Tom were here, he would be smiling with all of you. He'll be he should be back in the booth next week. And so we will see you guys next week. As always, guys, be safe.
Be safe. And thank you guys for tuning in.
Absolutely.